Hello and welcome to the second session of our second season of the Karotechia Conundrum. This is a Achtung Cthulhu campaign set currently in October 1940 in Egypt. And I am Andy, I'm the keeper, and I'll start by introducing my players. Working around the screen, let's start with Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm playing Lieutenant Archie Fanshawe, a newly minted lieutenant in the British Army. Northumberland Fusilier, to be specific.
And then B.
And B, I'm playing Second Lieutenant Eleanor Wyndham. Nellie. And I'm not sure. I've forgotten what my actual
You're in the
role is.
I think you're the ATC. Is
auxiliary something?
Oh, yeah, the Women's Auxiliary.
Yeah,
Women's
Auxiliary Territorial Service or something like that. Yeah.
And then Ian. Ian. Oh, Ian's frozen. Ian is frozen. Right, we'll come back to Ian. Hopefully that will get resolved shortly. Let's move on to Bruce.
Hi, I am playing Sam Calloway, Sergeant Sam Calloway, the group's combat medic.
And lastly, for a moment, until Ian reappears, let's go to Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I play Casamir Koslow, formerly of the Polish Armored Divisions and current mechanic and driver.
Right, hopefully Ian will be rejoining in a sec. Okay, so where we left it, you were in, you're searching for this missing Section M team. You were in the hotel name is the it is
right. I'm back. Sorry about that.
Right, go on. You're just about appearing. Oh, can you hear us, Ian? Oh, he's having some connection problems. Right. We'll come to Ian's character in a sec. You're currently at the Cecil Hotel. That's interesting. Failed to start camera. I've never seen that before.
yeah. It's asking me to try again.
Yeah, that's really weird.
I don't know that that'll help anything.
A very interesting failure there. Right. Sorry, you're in the Cecil Hotel, which is one of the nicest hotels in Alexandria, in northern Egypt. You're in the room that was hired by Lieutenant Freddie Russell, and you've broken there. I believe Casamir is not in the room. He's out in the corridor.
Yes, I'm keeping watch.
Doing the good job of a loitering NCO. You had found principally two things. First was a letter, which you had gathered from the report you were given by your CO before you left, that Freddie Russell's team had found. And then with the letter is also a photo of a statue, which looks really quite horrible. Actually, let's just change the view so that you can see the photo of the statue. Now, one thing I forgot last session. Nellie. This statue, this image, this statue, it looks like it's a creature very similar to something you've seen before.
Oh no. Okay. Are we just seeing this now?
If you got it, do you want me to put it up on your screen? Have you got it?
No. I'm like, are we just seeing this?
We saw it at the end of last session.
You saw right then last session.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah.
So
right at the end.
You see the session, and you suddenly get a flashback of memory to a beach, and I've forgotten his name. Who was the slightly psychotic member of the Bentham Club?
The one that recruited me.
Yes. Mr. Horton.
His
Mr.
name
Houghton.
is
Mr. Houghton.
Yes, that's it. Houghton.
Houghton. Yeah, I think it's Houghton.
Yeah.
And you have flashback to the memory of that incident when there was,
Incident. Yeah.
yes, some strange creature on the beach, and this looks remarkably similar.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this picture a little bit struck, sort of really taking longer than just a glance, looking at this thing a little bit in shock, I guess.
Soft gasp. Innsmouth.
It wasn't in Innsmouth. It was in the British Isles, I'll have you know.
I couldn't resist.
And then I think the door's open and everything. She hands it to, probably going to hand it to
So
Lieutenant
the door
Fanshawe.
the door to the room is shut because
Oh, okay.
yeah, but the four of you are in there with the exception of Casamir.
Gotcha. In that
Yep.
case, she'll kind of hold it out, and she'll say, "This looks remarkably similar to something I witnessed when I was first headhunted for Section M." And she holds out the picture of the fish god thing. I saw a creature just like this with my own eyes. On the British Isles, coast of Essex, actually.
So is Chris frozen as well?
Don't know.
No, I'm here.
Okay, so
No.
it's just sorry, Nellie was talking to you. I was just checking.
Oh, it's talking
Sorry.
to everyone. But yeah.
Right.
I don't know quite what to do with that information, but other than it seems a very
Sorry, Nellie.
long way for it to there be a statue of something this side of the world. But perhaps maybe it's related in some way. I can give you all a debrief on the kinds of things that we found leading up to me seeing this creature.
So
if it helps at all.
you've got that handout, yeah. That in your
Yeah, I got the photos actually.
no, have you got your
Yeah, I've got the.
Nellie's
Oh, I've got
handout?
Hibbs incident. Yeah,
Hibbs
yeah.
incident,
I've got that.
Yep. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I think that might be a good idea. Yes. You can give us a debrief, perhaps when we get back to the hotel or while we're driving.
Yeah,
Well, we're in the hotel.
You're staying in this hotel, but just on a different floor.
Yeah. A different floor.
If you remember, you
But we should
did the
wait until we're out of danger as well.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
Nick,
Is there anything else you want to do in this room, or
No, that's his bit. Do we need to check both Freddy's? Do you want to check the other rooms?
sorry, just to be clear, one thing which I haven't really said. There's fairly normal sort of possession. Clearly, some of Freddy's possessions are here. There's a change of uniform, some other bits and pieces of clothing. There's some ammunition for a pistol and for a rifle, spare ammunition, but neither weapon is present. So it's sort of nothing. It looks like he hadn't checked out or anything, and you know that his booking is still current.
I'll quickly check his wardrobe and I'll look at his boots. With my understanding of being a British officer, has he taken his walking gear or is in his smart sort of drill boots?
His smart gear is here.
Right, okay. So yes, he's obviously gone somewhere. He's not out clubbing or something. He's taken his weapons with him as well. I'd suggest that we drive directly to this location where Abu Kir. You concur? Is he in again?
Third time's a charm.
Hey.
There.
Yeah, this is my phone, so my
Oh, no.
computer not connecting to the internet now. So the internet's back up in the house, but my computer won't connect to it.
Okay.
Oh, no.
It still says you're in Forge or Foundry rather.
I've shut the computer down and restarted it, so that's just some
Okay.
cache or something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So the only thing you've really missed is that Nellie has explained that she has seen in the flesh a creature that looks remarkably like the statue once before.
And where was that again? Sorry.
Okay.
My apologies.
Whereabouts did you say?
Yes.
Oh, just off of the Essex coast, a place called West Mersey.
All right.
Like,
So a
very
totally
small
different
place.
area.
Intriguing.
There was some locals that seemed to be praying to it, feeding it people. It was, well, it was pretty grim, if I could say so.
Sounds it.
Um,
Terribly un-British as well.
Well, the family didn't strike me as super patriotic.
Hmm.
They weren't
Trying to
exactly.
laugh.
They,
Tried to laugh it off, but I'm obviously a little bit about that.
they didn't
Archie
exactly
fails-
plant the Union
fails to
Jack
laugh it
next
off.
to the thing.
Right, shall we check the other rooms quickly, or do you think we should? Do you think we need to?
If we can do so without drawing attention to ourselves, then yes.
Great.
It seems that you and our new second lieutenant have certain skills in being able to find your way.
What are you
into...
insinuating?
They have lockpicking skills, and maybe they'd be better off leading those
I know what you
charges.
mean.
No.
Right. The thing is, you left a note for Lieutenant Freddie Russell,
Yes.
and so got his room number. You don't actually have the
The
room or
others.
room numbers for the others.
Yes.
Is it Russell or Ross?
Russell.
Russell. Toby
it is
Ross
Russell.
is Ian's character.
Oh.
That's where
Sorry.
that's where you got confusion there.
Sorry.
Sorry, I thought. Sorry, because I haven't got the game. I haven't got the NPCs up. The Lance Corporal, who's booked our rooms, booked theirs. I thought she knew what the rooms were.
True.
Vicky Lambourne is the
That's it.
Lance
Oh,
Corporal.
very true. She did. Yes. I completely forgot about that. Yes. So I think she told you she booked one room for Fred Russell and a triple room for the others. So yes, you can have the room number of that certainly.
Right, let's pay a quick visit.
Okay. You go up there. I think we could just narrate this. It's in a sort of it's still quite a nice part of the hotel, but it is clearly a bit that has been adapted for other ranks. You open the door, no problem. Get in there. It's actually a room for four. It's actually had two bunk beds put in there, and three of which are occupied. And very similar situation. There's there's clearly haven't moved out. There's gear of all three men. There's bits and pieces of equipment, spare equipment. Clearly, they're not quite as posh as and as smart as the officer, but sort of their number one smarter dress uniforms are still here. They've clearly gone out in more working uniforms, but there's nothing else You search the room, you don't find anything else of any interest or anything suspicious there. There is one thing that I did mention last time in Freddie Russell's room that I just want to remind you also have. You've also got some notes that in Arabic from Mahmoud Wahid's house, you presume, which are his notes on the dig where the statue was found in Abukir.
Cool.
Okay.
So we've probably got some information there about where exactly the statue came from.
It has an
Like
address.
the location.
Mhm.
Yeah, the address. Cool. Perfect.
Which it was a site that was being renovated. A site that was being renovated for the purpose of building a new house. Okay.
Okay. Do we want to have a quick conversation up in our own rooms? Oh,
We can have a conversation on the way.
yes, makes sense.
Come on.
So you go find your truck and drive to Abukir. Okay. Now that is, if you remember, this map is not very far away.
12 miles.
Uh,
Am I reckoning roughly?
Sorry,
12 miles according to my calculations.
I think possibly, yeah, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's put that up. There's the map of the area map.
Andy, can you unpause the game, please?
Oh, sorry, that's the spacebar, isn't it?
Yep.
No. What is it to unpause it? Yes, spacebar.
Spacebar usually.
Yeah, no,
Can
I
you-
seem to have not pressed the spacebar correctly.
Ah.
Mild incompetence. Okay, so you drive around, and as you're studying these notes you're driving, you actually realise, though it's been talked about being in Abukir,
Dear me, honestly, I've just noticed something about Foundry, sorry. It counts one square diagonally as 1, not 1.4. Sorry. It counts diagonals the same as straight across, that's why, yeah.
Right. Can you see where I'm pinging?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
No.
Yes.
Abukir is, obviously not Ian. Abukir is here. Actually, the house is slightly further down the coast here. Okay. Is the so even though it's been described as Abukir, the that is not where the address actually is slightly outside of Abukir. Okay. Right. And you pass through a couple of military checkpoints. Nothing untoward. You've all got ID. There's some questions are asked, but nothing nothing that is problematic at all. And after barely an hour after leaving Freddie Russell's room. Now, do you want to go to Abukir or do you want to go to the house? Where do you want to go to?
I also expected that's wherever the dig was.
So the dig,
Yeah, the
the
house.
dig's at the house. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think along the way, Nellie's going to tell everybody about the Hibbs incident.
Okay.
Just to give some context to what she'd seen. She explains that there was a strange family in West Mersey. Well, what had drawn her to the area was actually there was reports of people going missing. There was a total of 6 men that had gone missing, and it was being put down to some unseasonal sea fog. That people had basically gone too far out into the waters and basically swept away. But after Nellie kind of dug her teeth in and did a little bit of digging, and she'd spoken with some of the locals, which happened to be this family called the Hibbs family. She found that they were quite unusual, very unusual looking for sure. They were very insular, kept to themselves. They also looked unusual in the way that they had quite bulbous eyes, and they looked very strange, and they smelt strange as well. And then there was a seventh missing person while she was there. And then this somebody that she knows from Section M had turned up and had asked her for what she'd researched so far for the information. And she was allowed to accompany them on their continued investigation. And that's when she'd seen a ritual being done at night by some the adults of the Hibbs family that were all out on the beach and were doing some kind of strange ritual to this seventh victim, which included killing him and eating him, like fresh, just straight up cannibalism. But coming out of the water was this creature, which she explains is very, very similar to the image of the sea god. So perhaps what we need to look out for, is the potential for maybe groups of people that perhaps look a little bit strange. They smell really bad in like a fishy way. They are distrustful of outsiders, and obviously if we see people doing a ritual, it's kind of a obvious point that we'd intervene, I imagine. But those are the things that potentially we should look out for if this village has something like that, or and that's what she's able to tell.
Okay, so you arrive at the house, which is, as I say, just about this point here, a little bit south of Abukir. Okay, and it turns out to be that there's an address, and it turns out to be quite a large estate that has been sort of estate-like compound has been rebuilt. Clearly, there were renovation. The statue was found when there were sort of excavations. Really, they were knocking down, according to the documents, they were knocking down the original complex of buildings and building a new new house for someone. And you can see that house is now completely built, and sorry, now has it time-wise. Trying to remember what it was afternoon. I think you were in Lieutenant Russell's.
We're getting quite late by now. Yeah, that's right.
So I think it's about 9 o'clock at night now, something like that. So, which I think we worked out was definitely it's got dark by now. So there's a few lights on, you can see, but there's some fairly high walls. Nothing unusual. It's quite sort of usual for sort of slightly private estates to have slightly large sort of walled compounds as such. But there's a track goes off the main road to it, and you can see as you're sort of approaching, you can see that the walls, they don't they get they're sort of effectively on three sides, because it appears to be that the house is actually really quite close to the sea's edge, or rather a cliff because you're high up here, a cliff overseeing the bay. Okay, and so the wall is really on 3 sides.
Can you access the bay from that side, or is it
Well,
a big,
by
a
the
deep
bay, I'm meaning
cliff?
all of this.
Right. Okay. All right.
Okay, so it's really quite a large bay.
Yeah.
And if there's a way down to the base of the cliff, you couldn't see anything like that from here. But at first glance, it looks like it's essentially up on a cliff overlooking the wide part of the bay.
Okay. Well, our choices are as I sit, snoop around, or knock on the door. Who's up for snooping around?
Could snoop.
I'm always down for snooping.
Okay, if you park the vehicle off, truck off road, then.
Mm-hmm.
Is everyone going snooping?
I believe
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
the plan.
Sergeant, you have alternate approach preferred?
No, sir.
Experienced man in the field, this sergeant. Always look for his advice.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I might as well get
Yes.
Ian.
Sounds about
Ian, are you actually now
20
in
or
roll?
something.
Ian, are you now in roll?
Yeah, I fired up my laptop.
So you're in. So you're able to roll dice. Okay, that's the key thing.
I can, yeah.
Okay. Right.
Also, they don't teach you basic sneaking in infantry training. So
Basic sneaking. Yeah, I missed that course.
yeah.
These are the basics of not being seen.
Well, cover, fair enough, but sneaking, yeah. I mean, is that British for starters?
Right. So, sorry, it's a new scene, so I'm going to just reduce party momentum by 1. So you now have back to 0.
I was about to say.
Right. So, can I have some stealth checks, please?
Is it urban stealth?
Ooh.
I'm assuming.
It's around a building. Yeah, I'll give you urban stealth.
Is it agility or coordination? Huge difference for me, but
I think it's agility, isn't it?
okay.
It defaults to agility,
Does
doesn't
that
it?
work?
Nice.
This won't go well for me.
Right. So 0.
Right, that seems not. Oh, it has worked.
Did you?
0 successes, of course.
Yeah. And then 3 successes from Nellie. Right. A success, but a complication from Toby. 2 successes from the sergeant, who was complaining about not being taught how to stealth, but appears to have some.
Oh no, but I've been ordered to do it, so now I'm good at it.
I really like that.
Right. So,
on the other hand, seemed not to be as quiet as I thought it was.
can you use? Actually, no. No. Right. So, B's got two extra successes, and Bruce, you've got 1. Do you just want to stick them into party momentum, or do something else with them?
Maybe if we could use them to spot any guards or determine an entry point.
When it comes to guards, don't worry. Toby has got that sorted with his complication.
Oh, okay.
I'm just imagining that like I'm trailing along behind and and there's just everyone else is like quiet like ghosts, and then you just hear crunch, crunch, crunch.
Me too, don't worry.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do with these extra successes? party momentum?
If we put them into party momentum, it's going to help overall, isn't it? In the coming
Yes.
whatever checks we use, they can be used.
Yeah.
For whatever. Okay, yeah. I'm going to put my extra successes as
So there's 2
party
there.
momentum.
Bruce, do you do anything?
Yep.
Because then anybody can use them to get out of a
Oh, no.
sticky situation.
Right, so that's party momentum of 3. Okay, right. So, you're making your way in, and all is quiet, and then Toby, you attract the attention of something. What the attention of is suddenly there is a dog charging at you, barking very, very loudly. And it looks, it's not immediately attacking, but it's noisy.
Mhm.
What do you wish to do? Just to just flesh out the scene a bit for you. Sorry. So you started stealthing in. You got basically 2 choices of how to get in or how to approach. One is to just try and climb over the wall or the gates in the wall that vehicles can pass through, or you could try and go right to the sea's edge and come around on the cliff and sort of try and clamber around there. What do you want to have done?
Are you talking to me in particular, or
That you as a
the whole
group.
party?
You as a group. I'm assuming you're stealthing as a group.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think so.
So
Honestly,
I mean, I can deal with that wall.
so
It'll be loud though.
clambering
That's
across
not
the wall,
stealthy.
clambering
Yeah.
across the gates, or trying to make your way around right by the cliff face.
I say go for the cliff face.
Okay.
I'm looking
So
at my talent.
you're on the northern side of the house and the cliff face, and as I say, this dog comes bounding over towards Toby.
Actually, really quick, can we have gone over the wall? Because I have a thing for this. I'd like to
Okay.
activate my quartermaster talent to spend a fortune point
Yep.
to reveal that there is a ladder in the truck.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
You never know when you might need a ladder.
Yep. And so, have you taken the ladder with you and put it up against the wall to climb over?
Yeah, that might have been how I
Yes.
botched my stealth check. I may have accidentally
Well, you
clattered the
didn't. You
ladder
didn't
a
botch
little
it. You
too
just got
hard.
0
Well,
successes.
no, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a little louder than I expected.
Simply, I botched my test because everyone else is doing so well. I'm just so busy saying, "Jolly well done, chaps." Very quiet. Oh, excellent ladder. I get a little bit too loud myself.
Right. So you've set up a ladder on the outside of the wall,
Yes.
and then dropped over, and then as you started moving in, Toby, you've effectively attracted the attention of a dog who appears to be slightly fixated on you, and has
Have we got a rope?
picked you as the person to bark with.
Have we got a rope?
Is it,
What,
Well,
so we
last
can
person over,
recognize
just
the dog?
pass the ladder over to the other side of the wall. Okay.
I mean, we can probably unlock the gate from inside.
Yes. Okay. Maybe.
I mean, look, if we need to make a hasty retreat from here, I have a way to open that gate.
Okay.
If you want to have brought the ladder across, yes, you can have.
Okay,
Certainly.
then
The
yes,
ladder can be brought across.
I will continue carrying the ladder.
Or you just can lay it down inside the wall.
No, it's just so
Yeah,
that it's on the right side of the wall. So if we need to make a hasty exit, we don't have to blow anything up or kill any dogs.
Fair enough. Yeah, we'll drag the ladder back over the wall and then leave it leaning on this side of the wall now.
Okay. Right. Toby, dog, barking at you.
it's not coming straight into attack, so it's
No,
not just one of these dogs that fell and I'm going to
No, it's
be very
probably about 10 feet from it. It runs up, stops about 10 feet of you, and then barks very, very loudly at you in particular.
in my loudest voice, I'm going to shout it, "Sit down!"
In what language?
and try and command
What
in Arabic.
Okay.
Followed by
It
Sam.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Andy. You'll just shout it in English loudly enough, and the dog will understand.
Of course.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
are British officers after. He's a British officer after all. Right.
Every dog in the world speaks the king.
I reckon the most applicable skill there is persuasion.
Not animal handling.
Animal handling.
Where's
Or
animal handling?
handling.
I'll go persuasion.
Survival.
all day long.
Survival.
Oh,
I've got persuasion all
survival.
day long.
Sorry, I'm being blind. Okay, sorry, I totally missed that. Yeah, survival. A survival animal handling skill, but under your will, using your will stat, please.
Okay.
Do you want to use
don't
a
forget-
point of momentum?
There are momentum points.
I was going to use a part of momentum. Yeah.
So reduce the. You should be able to reduce the momentum to
Forward.
3.
yeah.
Yep.
To 2,
Yep.
and then when you roll an extra d20.
Yeah, got that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We might have to retreat.
Right.
We're gonna have to kill the dog.
Right. The dog. I'm going to have to roll some physical dice for this, I think.
Do you know what? In any other game, 2 nat 20s would be beautiful.
Right.
Off the back of the first nat 20 as well.
Yeah. Oh no.
Right. I'm going to. I think
You
I'm
have
going
rolled
to
3
turn
nat 20s.
one of those complications into an extra threat. And then the dog leaps forward and tries to bite you.
Can you not roll dice on the dice roller, Andy?
I haven't got the dog set up as a creature, so actually I could just
Still roll dice.
dice roll.
Can I recommend a little applet you can put into this called a module called Dice Tray? Just gives you a little convenient thing to help you roll dice, individual
Yes,
dice.
I don't have that set up though.
Very easy. I'll explain it to you between
Yeah.
sessions.
And
Dice So Nice gives you nice 3D
Isn't it-
dice as well.
Right. Isn't it / R 2d20?
Yeah, it's just like
Yep.
in Roll20. Yep.
So that's added them together. What
If you
are-
hover over it,
5
I
and-
believe it'll
A 5
tell
and a
you.
20. You got a 5 and then a 20.
Right. Okay. The dog bites you for a point of stress, Toby.
Mhm.
But
Is there a initiative or something I presume next, but
I'm sorry, but with double complications, I've got to do something.
Yeah.
But then with its complication, it's just rolled. It then it's trying to stay latched on, but it stumbles as you move away, and it falls off you, and it's sort of knocked itself and slightly winded for a second. Okay, so I think in terms of initiative, let's use it a bit thematically. So let's do Ian. I think Toby should have the first action.
So I've just got to check my gear.
You already have his first action, telling it to
Yeah.
sit.
I think that was before combat started, to be fair.
I seem to have a lot in the way of kit. I've got a bayonet, I guess. I'm going to try and stab the dog.
Okay, make me a
Really good.
bayonet check then, please.
Which will be
So it should be set up. If you click on the bayonet, it should be
Okay.
set up with skill and stat. And you, I don't know if it'll do focus, but I don't think you've got the relevant focus anyway.
no, I don't know. Did that do anything? I clicked on it, but
Is that not roll?
no, it just opens up another little information thing that says piercing 1, salvo, whatever.
Okay.
Oh, no, sorry.
Right. Okay. Just make me a. Just
You
roll your.
should be able to click on. You should be able to click on the. Oh, maybe not. Oh, how does that work? Yeah, you should be able to click on the focus.
Yeah, click on the focus. Click where it says melee weapons. Click on that. I think that clicks off the roll.
So on the 5-2 millimeters,
No. On the weapons
No,
bit,
right. Yeah,
to the right of bayonet, it says melee weapons. Click on that.
yeah, with the dice next to it. Yeah, that one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the one.
There's
Yes,
focus next to it.
that's the clue. The dice is next to it. Yeah.
And again, is that agility or coordination?
That is agility for melee weapons.
Do I nick another point of party momentum?
Yep. That's obviously yeah. You can.
Keep doing that the wrong way. Sorry, I don't. How many 20s is going to get this time? Ooh.
Wow.
That dog
Killed the
really
dog.
pissed me off.
Yeah.
Right. So.
The
It
swings are wild.
doesn't give you the dice roll for the damage. That's interesting. Right.
So Andy, just click on the stress under the.
Yeah. But it doesn't. I meant as in the where he's rolled the bet in the chat window.
that's what you mean.
So click on the stress. Yeah. But you've got 4 extra successes. You can either put some of them into damage, or you can put them into party momentum, whatever you wish to do.
2 and 2, I guess.
Okay, so put party momentum up by 2, and then when you roll the stress, increase the number of dice from 3 to 5.
Bruh.
And that is 3 points. Sorry, 5 points of damage. Right. You ram the dagger into the bayonet into its throat, and with a faint squeal, it drops dead. And
Mark that one, you fucker.
and blood starts oozing or gushing out of its neck.
Good work. Okay.
Right. While that's going on, what were the other 4 of you doing?
I know that.
Well, it didn't take very long, did it? I mean, we were waiting for our first action.
As soon as it started barking, I think Nellie would have tried to duck away so that she was out of the. So if somebody was basically coming out of the house or whatever to have a look, or was looking towards the noise disturbance, she wants to be as far away as possible and hidden somewhere else. So I move further along the side of the house, I guess.
Okay.
In stealth.
Can I have an observation check from you? What are the other 3 of you doing, please?
I was moving forward towards.
You're focused on that.
Ian's character. So I don't know where I can find the character's name. Sorry, I've forgotten Ian's character's names again.
Toby Ross.
Toby Ross, right? Where's that written?
Is it hearing or sight or instincts or smell and taste for observation? Because I've got a focus in hearing,
sight.
Is that based off of coordination, insight, reasoning, will,
no, it's
agility?
It'll be off insight. Okay. Right. Come back to you in a sec.
Yep.
Right. Bruce, Nick, Chris, what are you doing? So, sorry, Chris is sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I was heading in towards
Archie
and help.
was moving in to help Toby. Sam and Casamir, what were you doing, please?
I'm going to ready my rifle and kind of just keep an eye out for anyone who might take untoward interest in
Right.
the barking dog that now is no longer barking.
Can I have an observation check from you, please, with on
Yeah.
using sight and on insight? Sam, what are you up to, please?
Well, I was going to go and help Toby, but as soon as I see him draw his bayonet, I will probably continue to, I don't know, cover Ellie as she's doing whatever she's doing.
Okay. Right. So you're okay. Can I have an observation check from you as well, then, please?
Sure.
Using sight, if you have that focus. Okay. Right. Casamir, you
What's the
spot
attribute, Andy? Sorry.
insight. Insight. Right. So, you needed one success. So, B, you've got 3 extra successes, and Bruce, you've got 1 extra. Do you want to do anything with those, or put them into party momentum?
That's what the situation is. I think I'd certainly like to spend them to get more information about whatever we see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think finding out more information about anything that could be like a movement or anything inside that could be a hazard.
Okay.
That's what my first success buys me.
Yeah. Okay. And okay. So, right. So, Casamir, glancing round, you see some movement in the house, as in movement across a window with a light in there. So someone moving across a lit window, just one window, and it's a movement that then doesn't reappear. Okay. Sam and Nellie, you both, by putting extra success in, you see that someone sort of comes to the window, glances out, and then you can see that they're almost disinterested, and then they go back. Possibly like
They're
this.
not an alert.
Possibly like this dog barks quite a lot.
Well, not anymore. It won't.
Now,
It only took until the dog left our party for us to kill a dog.
Yeah, right.
So that's what gets you the second success. Nellie, do you want to put any more successes in?
I think I'm going to. So I succeeded 1. I've got 3 more.
You've used one of those for that extra
I've
piece
used
of
one of
information.
them. Okay. I can't.
Is it a man or a
see-
woman?
Yeah, I think a
Definitely.
little bit
Sorry,
of information.
you both would
Right.
have seen man. Sorry, you both would have
Okay,
seen man.
alright.
Apologies.
I'm going to just put it into party momentum, to the other 2 into party momentum.
Okay. Add it in then, please.
So, yep.
Yeah, and I'll put mine into party momentum
No,
as well.
yours was used. Yours
was used.
Sorry, and I used the same success to get 1 piece of information.
Oh. I'm not sure, but I'll let you put it into party momentum. I'm not sure about that. Not sure about that. So I'll let you put it into party momentum. Okay. Right. And then quietness descends.
Right.
There's a dog that is dead, but it's still blood coming out of it in front of Toby and Archie. The others are off to one side. What do you wish to do?
You say there's some cliffs at the bottom of the garden.
Yes. There's enough moonlight to see that the there is it's actually quite dangerous. You would say the cliff sort of you can see because and then it just suddenly drops away. So that must be the ground just drops away. So that must be the cliff edge. And the house is it's got a very nice view over the cliff, but it's not on the cliff's edge or anything like that. It's clearly set back from the cliffs and a safe distance set back. And there's a sort of your sort of side on. You can see some sort of veranda type setup would probably be the best description. With between the house and the cliff, with some sort of setup for people to dine out there with a wonderful view and stuff like that.
I thought especially an archaeological dig here somewhere. Is that right?
There was no. The archaeological dig was several years ago. The statue was found a couple of years ago, and the house has been rebuilt since.
Right, let's have a quick scout around, see if we can find any sign of these guys. Someone made that dog over the edge of the cliff. Probably conceal our presence at least a tiny bit. You may have to come back and knock on the door tomorrow.
Yeah. Awkward.
So who's disposing of the dog?
All right, I'll do it.
Right. So you go and drop the dog across. Looking down, you can see that there isn't much of a beach at all at the bottom. There is the sea seems to be does seem to be right up to the cliff face. So the dog drops into water rather than to rocks.
I should have used those extra successes. I've just realised. Never mind. It does.
Go on.
I sort of whisper towards that. Like if I whisper like quiet enough, would where Fanshawe and Ross are, would they be able to hear me?
Yeah, you can gather enough to have a conversation.
Okay.
Sorry, I've just got to go. I'll be back in just one sec. So have the conversation amongst yourselves.
No worries. She's gonna sort of whisper talk towards you guys and say there's a person inside the house. They don't look like they're expecting anyone or any trouble. They don't look particularly alarmed by the dog. Should we split up and look for clues, gang?
Yes, I think you probably should. Well, split up, but
me and Sam can go around this way if you three go around the other.
okay. I want to just scout along and see if there's a path down this cliff or something like that. Not much of a beach down there, but I'm curious as to where this archaeological dig might have been. This likely to have been where they would have been poking around, so let's poke around, see what we can find.
Yeah.
Do you think
if we don't find anything, perhaps we should knock on the door or come back another time.
Knock on the door or break in?
All right. Knock on the door.
Well, that's a little bit like bandits. Perhaps if you can't find anything, you come back in the morning and knock on the door.
So, sorry.
Clues. No, that was it. We just decided we're going to split up and look for clues, like the Scooby Gang.
Okay, so who's going where?
Okay, so B, do you want to take Sam and do the upper part of the garden, take a look at any outbuilding, anything like that? I'll take the others and we'll scout around the close to the cliff edge. Careful about the cliff edge in the dark, and we'll see if there's any signs of a way down or anything else of interest down there. So we'll do the lower part of the garden if you two do the upper part. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
and we're looking for signs of our first crew, aren't we?
Yes.
Like whether they've been here, that's it, sort of thing. Okay, cool.
Right. Can I do? So Nellie and Sam was one team. Can I do them first, please?
Okay.
So you're searching the sort of upper part of the garden, away from the cliff face. Yep.
Yeah, sort of more around the house. I imagine, if I'm imagining it correctly. Yeah.
Okay. You search around. There's a couple of outbuildings. One of them turns out to be a garage that has a fairly old car in it, serviceable, but a working car, a sign of wealth. Give me an observation sight roll.
Both of us. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
And that's
Or
Insight.
or a survival tracking check.
I'm gonna stick
Both
with
of them,
observation.
they would be on reason.
I'm going to spend a momentum to buy another dice on this.
Okay.
How many 20s have we rolled now? This is crazy.
The one full, yeah.
You roll 4 and I roll 1. Right. Okay. I'm just going to put my GM threat up with that rather than do something with it. Right. So you search around, and there's nothing. You don't find anything untoward in the around the garage and the other buildings. What you do spot is that the path, or the track that comes from the gate into the house or towards the house, someone has driven relatively recently a large heavy vehicle past the turning to the garage and up to the front of the house, and then quite close to the house you can find clear signs of it doing a 3 or 4 point turn to turn around before leaving, and so it's clearly quite heavy, a quite heavy vehicle.
So just to the house, none of the other
No, didn't go,
outbuildings. Didn't go to the
not
garage.
It's has driven up to the house.
Okay.
Okay. Bruce, do you want to do anything with your extra success?
Can I identify what type of vehicle it is? Is it a military vehicle, civilian vehicle, tracked, wheeled?
Definitely wheeled, not tracked. You can tell that already.
How long ago? How big?
Definitely recent. For the extra success, you can make out the tyre pattern of a British Army truck. And
Okay.
you know that that's what Lieutenant Russell's team also acquired, was a British, almost the same model of truck as you've got.
Okay.
Okay.
And obviously, I can tell by the tread pattern that it was driven by a Britishman.
You can tell it's the pattern of a British truck. It could be driven by.
Yes, I as a Polishman leave completely different tire tracks with the same truck.
Yeah. Yours is
Yeah,
more like this.
but we drive on the right, so it'd be obvious which way around it was.
Fuck's sake.
No, you can tell it's a British Army truck. That's as far as we go.
Yep, that's
Yep.
fine.
Okay.
I mean, how many British Army trucks can there be in Africa at the moment?
Thousands.
About that, yeah.
About that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Right. Okay. And then is there anything else you want? Is that I think that's probably
I-
finished searching.
Yep.
Unless there's anything
Yeah.
to have a look at.
If that's all we can see and ascertain for from our clue searching, we'll probably head back round the house to rejoin. Right?
Okay. Right. Let me do the others then. The other three of you, you go off and investigate round by the cliff. So you're looking specifically for a way down. Okay. Can you please roll me either observation and sight or athletics climbing? Both of them on reason. So your choice of either observation sight on reason or athletics climb on reason.
Excuse me, I was just checking my timeline of the campaign again so I can see where we are, what's happened.
Right, so it's 2 successes for Casamir, 1 for Toby.
Narrowly avoiding another 20 there.
Yeah. Ian, stop rolling dice. God.
Chris, you
Rolls a
rolling?
20. Oh, you saw something and it was very interesting and you leaned a little too far.
That's why I
and-
just said, Andy, I was just checking the program. I had forgotten what the date meant. So what am I rolling?
Either observation sight or athletics climbing, either way on reason. You're studying the cliff edge and looking for ways down and so on.
Two successes.
Okay, so all of you searching round, you do not find an easy way down. There's a couple of points where you could climb, but it would be a relatively difficult climb.
No one said there's not a staircase down or something like that.
There's nothing like a staircase or any points where maybe a rope ladder would be affixed or something like that. Nothing like that. And it looks to be about a 50, 60 foot drop to the water below. And when you drop the dog, it wasn't particularly shallow. Sorry, it wasn't particularly deep. It was comparatively shallow, even though the water is up against the cliff face. So if you were to jump in, you might actually be jumping into quite shallow water and potentially hurting yourself.
Yes, obviously. Let's not do that. Okay.
Yeah, well,
so
search
pencil
the area.
pencil that in as escape plan Z.
Yes.
So
Search the area anyway.
okay.
Yeah,
So
search the area. What with the cliff? At the top of the cliff and the lower part of the garden.
right, Casamir and Archie, you've both got extra successes. I think what to do with those successes on that sort of searching, looking at the cliff face.
So what I'd like to use my extra success for is to see if there's any signs that perhaps humans were dragged to the edge of the cliff and perhaps tossed into the drink.
Okay. So you cannot find anything that corresponds to drag marks of people. In fact, looking at the undergrowth, it looks to you, I mean, based on your knowledge, people don't come normally as close to the cliff face as you are.
That's going to be my question.
Sorry, Chris?
That's going to be my question, actually. Is there much sign that people come down here at all? Or is this part of the garden pretty wild? And
No, it's relatively wild, apart from it's someone comes not quite to mow the grass, but someone presumably comes to just sort of cut back the weeds as such. But it seems that people don't seem to come past the edge of the veranda, and that's a good 15 feet from the cliff edge.
Okay. Maybe I've got the wrong idea. What's the total length of this garden? From house to cliff?
Sorry, how far is from the house to the cliff?
How far is the house to the cliff? Yeah. I thought there was quite a
Prob-
distance here.
Yeah, probably about 30, 35 feet. It's set back.
Okay, I thought it was more than that. Sorry. Okay.
Okay. No, it's set. So there's a bit of open ground next to the cliff. Then there's about that's about 15 feet roughly across it. I mean, it's varying at points. Then you've got a veranda that's about a 20-foot deep veranda. Then you've got the startings of the house. But the house it's all single story and it's sort of sprawling. So the house is some parts of the house are quite far away from the cliff. But yes, the closest bit is about 35 feet. Apologies, my description confused you.
No, it's just how I imagine a house like this to be with a slightly longer garden, but that's just me. That's not.
Well, it
I'm
does
making
appear
an
to have
assumption.
been. I mean,
Never mind.
I think we're fair conclusion to say it 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 does seem maybe closer to the cliff than you would have chosen.
Well, yes, maybe that's why. Yeah. Okay. Right. So maybe I'm onto something here after all. Yeah. Okay. Well, while they're looking around garage and things, we're going to look around this. But if you look around the lower part of the garden, as I say, so we'll look at the base of the veranda, things like that. Any outbuildings down here, anything like that.
There's no outbuildings here. All the outbuildings are further away from the cliff. Okay. So searching round, there's occasional bits of fact. It's now getting on for probably 9:30 at night on your watches. And the few lights that were on appear to be probably oil lamps or something like that, because they're sort of gradually dimmed and turned off, and whoever's in the house appears to be going to bed.
Have we rejoined the others now?
Yeah, you could have grouped up.
So we go up again, right? We have a quick conflab in the shadows of a bush or something like that, and say, right, we've found nothing. Boss, there's nothing down here. No way down the cliff, anything like that. How about you?
Tire tracks leading up to the front door from
Car
a
tracks.
heavy
No,
vehicle.
definitely a British truck, so
British truck. Huh, okay.
absolutely.
That is interesting. Right.
Recently-ish, so I'm assuming the previous team.
Well, lights are going off. We could hold on for an hour or so, then break into the house and continue our recon here, or we could come tomorrow. Really, it's up to you. Well, it's up to me, I suppose.
There is somebody.
There is
There is somebody in the house, though. So
I think I mentioned that before, didn't I?
no, he was just
Yes.
carefully reminding the flighty officer.
Yes, you think that's reckless? Perhaps I'm over pushing it a little bit. Do we return to?
No, but we should be prepared to have to take them out, sir, if we do break into their house.
We don't want to do that.
Well, no.
We should. I think your instinct.
Hand puts his
begin
trench knife away. Yes, sir.
Just put it in his pocket. We should perhaps try knocking and having a talk with the owners. If this is a new build, they are unlikely to have much information or be connected to the previous tenants, which I believe is the people
Yes.
that are going to
I think
more
that's an
linked to
excellent
this.
idea. Excellent idea. We wait for an hour, then wake him up. He'll be disorientated. Fantastic. Right, back to the truck. Sam, do you remember to
Yes.
pack a stove and some tea? Of course he did. Of course he did. Right.
Yes, sir. I'll get right on that.
Quick
Nice
drop
hot
and
cup of tea.
Right, you go back to the truck, and which is parked up a little down the road from you, and brew up some.
not going to recover the ladder.
Yes, you get the ladder, climb back over, recover the ladder, put the ladder back in the back of the truck, and
Can we open the door from this side? The gate? Sorry.
it's got some very big, serious-looking bolts on it, which
Okay.
look like they might make noise when they're opened.
It's fine. We're knocking on the door anyway. So,
But yes, you
unfortunately,
could. That's all. That's all. And there's sort of. It's a double gate designed for vehicles, and so there's actually two big bolts across, and then each door's got like a spike bolt into the ground as well. So there's a lot of
Right.
but the two,
It's not just
particularly the two bolts across joining the two, securing the two doors to each other. They look big, hefty, slightly rusty, and probably noisy.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
that's fine. We're planning on announcing our presence anyway. So,
True. We should open it in an hour and claim if it doesn't squeak too much, that it was open the whole time. Hence the missing dog.
Right. So you back to the truck for a while, and you're brewing up tea, and after about half an hour, Casamir, you've just
Yes.
nipped off away from the truck to quick call of nature,
Oh, good.
and you spot something. You spot, well, it's a light quite far off in the distance, and I mean, you can see a little bit of light off, sort of up the coast, where, according to the map, Abu Kabir is. But this is it's a bright light to see, because it definitely seems like quite far to the northeast. I mean,
out at sea.
out to sea.
Mm.
And it sort of moves around for a little bit. Give me an observation check with sight, please.
It's Casimir.
Casamir, just Casamir.
Yeah. Okay. So the light is. Sorry, it's.
Northeast direction,
Yeah. Okay.
which puts it out to sea, and it seems
Okay.
quite a distance off and is moving. If you want to do something else, I'm assuming you want to look at it. If you want to do something else, by
Yeah.
all means do.
I mean, no. I'll look at it. In fact, I'm going to. Let me see if I have binoculars. Let's see if I have binoculars. Do not. Well, I will spend a fortune point to suddenly pull binoculars from my cargo pants pocket.
Mhm.
That is.
So
Okay.
that will give you an extra dice for rolling
Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, then it's observation,
sight
and sight,
on insight.
insight. 3 dice. All right.
Okay.
I'll put both of those extra successes into additional detail.
Okay. So you focus on the light, and you're able to work out the direction of it, and it's moving around, but it's not. What you realize. So it's a white light. It's really quite bright, but it's not moving round like a light on a boat at sea. It definitely seems to be a very powerful handheld lamp, but on land somewhere.
There's
Okay.
an island out there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
I am going to call out to the first lieutenant. Lieutenant, I have something you might want to take a look at.
This is just after you've gone for a pee, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's not what he's asking to have a look
I've
at.
heard about this thing in the British Army, but I'm really not sure this game. You might need a pair of binoculars, sir.
Sadly,
Wow.
as an officer, one has to attend to all duties of this kind. Unfortunately, this great day was going to come.
Oh my god.
I wonder that's wherever he's standing.
Okay, so you can automatically. I mean, the light is an automatic. You can see automatically there's light, and as I say, I mean it's moving around. It's in a northeast direction. What do you wish to do?
Is it on the island?
Give me an observation sight check as well.
I probably can't tell from here.
You can borrow Casamir's binoculars and have an extra dice if you wish.
I've got my own binoculars, thank you.
Okay, right.
That gives me extra dice, does it?
See, the lieutenant came prepared. I, on the other hand, had to.
I can't remember whether it reduces
Insight.
the number of successes required or gives you an extra dice. So I'm just doing an extra dice for ease at the moment. I'm still getting used to how some of the gear interacts with skill rolls.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So
Not with this now.
so you studying it, between the two of you studying it, picking out his, you think that light is moving around on the island out in the middle of out of the north part of the bay, and then after you're studying it for 30 seconds or something, and then either it shuts off or something comes between you and it. In fact, it's so sudden, it's probably been shut off. Or someone's got into a building or something that's blocked it entirely.
Oh, good observation.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So we've got a light over there. I'll make sure everyone else is informed. Should we
How
continue
far
with
away
our-
is it? Is it?
Well, if it's on the island, then it's pull out my map. Have I got a map?
Yeah, you
I've
got
got this map.
this reflects
of
a
course you
map
have a
you've
map.
got. It's about
A couple of miles up.
2-3 miles out to sea.
What time is it now?
Let's say 10 o'clock.
Well, we can. It could be one of the questions that we ask the resident.
Of course, it could also be smugglers, fishermen, anything.
Yeah.
But watching discounted as well. Okay, shall we go and have a word with our new friend in the house?
Yes.
So, are you going to wait a bit
In the
longer?
back whilst you're having a word with him,
Sorry,
if you wanted to combine your initial thought.
sorry, I missed the
Sorry?
start of that because I was talking over you. Apologies. Can you just repeat what you
No,
said?
sorry, I was just going to say the lieutenant's initial thought was to sort of sneak or break into the house, but we could do both. We could have people while people are actually talking to the person, so we know where he is, and distracting him. We could have people that are good at stealth sneaking in behind.
Good idea. Good idea. Excellent idea. Right.
Who's best to do the talking and who's best to do the sneaking?
I'm
Lieutenant
not good at
Ross.
either of those things.
Can I suggest that Lieutenant Ross, you take charge of the talking and knocking on the front door? On account of the fact that I believe you're the only person that speaks Arabic, so you better leave that then. We'll need another man to stand with him, then perhaps the rest of us, as you say, suggest sticking around the back. I maybe should do that because I'm the other person who knows how to pick a lock.
I believe
Stan will
this
stay.
by the way.
Stan will stay with Lieutenant Ross because
Yeah,
he's no good
and
at sneaking.
I will stay with the truck.
Right, so Casamir, you're staying with the truck. Sam, you're going to stay with Lieutenant Ross because I think that's an excellent idea. So Nellie will nip round the back while he's distracted. Okay.
I'm pretty good at that.
Seems
Ian,
to
you're
play to everyone's
muted,
best
by the way.
talents.
Say again.
Sorry.
What?
Ian was muted. So
Yeah,
Go
sorry. What do we want to know from this person I'm knocking up in the middle of the night?
Well, we want to know.
Well, we want to know what the
Understand.
British tyre tracks are, surely. Whether
But
that was
don't
our.
make it as directly that to start with. Keep that in your back pocket. Just simply that we understand that a Lieutenant Freddie Russell paid him a visit and we're looking for the man. So if he could
Okay, yeah,
be
sure.
so good as to tell us. And if he denies anything or something like that, then you can bring up the track. I'll leave it up to you, obviously.
Okay.
Details.
But we want to
sure.
find out a little bit more about that. Do we want to ask about the light?
Yeah,
And the
yes,
island
that's about
stuff?
light.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, if we need to continue to sort of do more time, we can ask him how good the fishing is around here.
10
Okay.
o'clock at night.
So let's start.
Night fishing is a thing,
That is true.
So let's
Dressed in an
start
army
with-
uniform.
So, Casamir, you're
using dynamite.
Sorry. Sorry.
Casamir, you're effectively with Toby and Sam because I'm assuming you're driving the truck up close to the
Yeah.
the gate. So the three of you are. I mean, you're hanging back by the truck, but the others have gone up to the gate. Okay.
Sorry, just a second. This gate's not shut.
Yep.
From inside. Are we just driving through it, or is someone climbing?
No. Someone, I'm no doubt will have a volunteer. Someone like Sam could do it. Is go nipping up the ladder. Don't for your, I'll do it for heaven's sake. Put the ladder up, nip the other side of the wall, undo the gate, and open it.
There is one thing, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, there is actually a sort of ring pull bell on the outside of the gate for visitors to announce themselves.
Very boring
Okay.
conventional. We could do it that way.
Well, do we want to do it that way?
We have to.
The entire party sighs with disappointment. We'll
Yeah.
ring the bell then.
No,
Sorry,
I'm just pointing out options. Sorry, Ian, you were trying to ask a question.
No. Do we want to be that obvious? Do we want to be a little bit mysterious? A bit?
Well, we are knocking on the door,
Just,
so I mean,
yeah.
well,
Well, yeah, and we'll go with the gate was open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but
that's
also
fine.
knocking on the door might give us more time, right? Because he's got to come out, unlock the gate, say hello. Well, who are we? Plus, he's well out of the house then, which gives the people sneaking in the back an even better route.
that's
Yeah.
good scheme. Right. Yep.
So
Casamir-
the people sneaking are going to go in advance, yeah, and I'll ring the bell at the gate once you've had 5 minutes over the fence, yeah.
Okay.
What will the signal be? So you're going to blow a whistle?
Good plan.
Yeah. Dead giveaway. Now.
Send a flare?
No, synchronized watches and give us 10 minutes. Okay, and Andy, we'll stick back across into the garden.
Okay. Are you using the ladder or are you just shimming over the wall?
I was
Might as
going
well
to see if Casimir would put the ladder against the wall and
Sure.
This
yeah.
ladder is.
Yeah. Okay. So use the ladder, get across, hide the ladder again, and then move. Whereabouts do you want to move to in the grounds?
Who is coming with me?
It's
Me.
Is
you,
it just me?
Nellie and
Just me.
Archie. Nellie and Archie.
Oh, and Archie. Okay, cool. So yeah, me and Archie should probably go round the back, which is we went round the back, didn't we?
Yeah.
Me and
It's
Sam.
the bit that it as such the most impressive part of the house is the bit that looks over the sea, which
Right.
from
Okay.
orientation of the gate is the back.
Okay.
Yes, that's right. So,
So-
we go to the seaside,
Yeah.
the ocean side, and we'll secrete ourselves reasonably near the back door, and
Yeah.
I'll put like how I can actually get the bleed door open.
Yep. Okay.
I say, actually, I've got a burglar's kit for some reason.
So have I. I'm really regretting
All of our
not bringing-
officers are grim.
I was looking through my stuff and I was like, why have I got a burglar's
Right.
kit?
because right. So Archie was an
It's not mine, sir.
Archie was an infiltrator. Has got infiltrator in his setup.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Toby's got a spy, and Nellie has the worst of all. Nellie has journalist, and that is, I think,
Yeah, that's true.
I think
There
that's
you
what
go.
gave you the
That's-
burglars.
The burglar's kit. That's
Well, it's a
crazy.
matter of interest. I have a choice So I have a choice of a couple of kits, so maybe we'll coordinate it next time. So we've all got different ones.
I only have one kit, and it's burglars. I go.
Oops, all
This is-
burglars.
Ian, what about you?
This isn't my first
Well,
time
let's
breaking and
let's
entering.
work this out between sessions. If you want to start
Yeah, okay.
switching gear around,
Yeah.
that's absolutely fine. We'll work it between sessions. Right. Okay.
Yes, sorry.
So the two of you stealth. Can I just have stealth checks from you two, please?
Sure.
And bear in mind, there's 5 points per party momentum if you want to use anything.
Yeah, I might use just one.
Please, honestly,
pass
we can
momentum
fluff it.
to
If we
finish.
fluff this at the moment, I'm going to use one as well because it's a minus, not plus. If we fluff this now, we fluff it anyway. But
So one
Well,
from
I got
Nellie,
one anyway.
which is sufficient, and 3.
Damn.
So you've got 2 extra
You better do-
successes. Do you want to do anything with those, or just put them back into momentum?
back into momentum.
Okay, thank you. Right, okay.
Oh no, I mean you could use them to sort of like state truths, can't you? And things like the back door is open, or he's left something on the latch, or
Yes, I hadn't actually.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm forgetting
true.
myself. Yes, good point.
use them to make your life easier.
What? Say one of the windows
Well,
is open.
yes, it's absolutely right. That's exactly the sort of thing you're supposed to do. So, yes, in actual fact, Andy, when we get back there, state of truth, yes, we actually noticed that one of the windows is open.
Okay.
Just a top, but enough we can easily leverage it open.
Yep, absolutely certain. Okay. Right. There are okay. So you and I think we'll say that you must have missed it first time that it was open. Okay, but you now spot there's a window open. Okay, or it's open a crack. It could be pushed. It can be widened to close.
Yeah.
Okay. Now going back to Toby and Sam and Casamir. So Casamir stays by the truck. The other two of you come up, and there's literally a rig pull that I mean you can see that it's attached to a bell literally above the gate. So it's you have to ring it quite loudly at this time of night. So are you digging that?
Yeah.
Right.
That
Okay.
sounds about so. There's the signal. You know that they know that we're about to.
Very clearly, the other two of you hear the bell being rung, and it takes about 5 minutes, and during that 5 minutes, you hear the distinct sound of a door, obviously the front, the main door into the building opening, and then the slightly shuffling sound of someone approaching. And someone comes to the other side of the gate, but doesn't open it, and says in Arabic, "It is very late. How can I help you? And who are you?"
British forces, sir. We need to come in and talk to you. In its bestest. I've got a talent with dialects. Is this a cultured voice?
No, definitely a servant.
Okay, I'll take a bit more of an authoritative tone then. We need to come in. We've got to speak to. Is it your house?
It is my master's house. Do you need to speak to my master?
Is he here?
He is. Yes, he's asleep though. He
Well, I
was
suggest you let us in the gate. I suggest you let us in the gate because we will need to talk to your master.
Right. Can you please give me a persuasion? Right. Are you persuading him with negotiation, or are you trying to intimidate him?
No, well, I suppose he can't see. Well, he can see. I'm not the sort of person who's intimidating. I guess Sam standing by my right shoulder might.
He can't see you
Might
at
add a
all.
bit of
He can't.
intimidation.
He can't. The gate is
Oh, the gate's solid, is
the
it?
gate's solid. Sorry, apologies. The gate's solid
Right.
wooden gate. He can't see you at all.
I can't.
No,
You can't
but-
really intimidate someone through a gate.
But this is
So-
more like a soft intimidation, in it, isn't it? It's not like a sort of a hard, like It's
Yeah,
more like you're
okay.
ordering him.
So do it on negotiation then.
Yeah.
I don't think you're trying to charm him.
No, not at all.
And this would be on will, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take a point of point of momentum for that as well.
Yep. Okay. You only needed one success. What do you want to do with the other two? The only you for a point he'll rush.
No, we don't want him to rush.
I don't. No, I'll just put them back into button momentum.
Put them back. Okay. So yes, sir. Yes, sir. He says very obsequiously, and then you hear, and your estimation was right. The gate. I mean, gates is like it takes a bit of force to open up the gates, and there's some screeching noises as the bolts are pulled back, and he brings back each of the gates, and after he opens the first one, he does look at you and see that you're British soldiers. Sees the two of you standing there. I'm assuming Casamir is actually in the driving seat of the truck.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's correct.
Are we taking it? Sorry, I don't think we should take the truck in.
No, we're not going to take the truck in.
Because if we take the truck in, when I point at the truck tracks,
Yep.
yeah, you just left those.
Yeah.
But what I do, has anyone? Is it dark? Is there any? There's no.
He's got.
Particular light.
Sorry, I should have described this. My apologies, because there'll be slight cracks of light. He's got an old oil lamp that he's sort of literally carrying an old oil lamp, and you can see that probably something fairly similar is lit within the building now.
Okay.
Nellie and Archie, I'll come back to you in a second about this. Just one thing, he opens both sides of the gate so that you could drive the truck in, but obviously you're not.
Okay. I'm going to turn around. Casamir, I guess you're with us.
Okay.
And as you walk in, do we walk past where the tyre tracks are, or is there something I can do that would sway it to that we do walk past where the
No.
the tyre
Absolutely. You're walking. Someone has driven a truck down this path you're walking on, this track you're walking on,
Okay.
turned it round in a several point turn in front of the house where there is a turning circle, and then driven back. And Sam's got a full understanding of which tracks were going in, which tracks were coming back out.
Okay. I'm going to make a pointed. I'm going to sort of tap Sam on the shoulder and point at the tracks clearly for the benefit of the servant.
Okay. And so Casamir's going in with the other two as well, yeah?
Yep, I guess so.
One thing I've forgotten to ask you. Sorry, what weaponry are the three of you carrying? Are you carrying?
My infantry rifle slung over my shoulder casually. It's not.
Okay. And Toby, you've got a pistol.
We are in a war zone.
Yeah, Toby, you've got a pistol on you. Are you carrying a rifle as well?
I'm taking a rifle as well. Yeah.
Okay. And Casamir, I'm assuming he's carrying a rifle as well. Okay.
Sure, I will also have it slung. It seems to be the fashion of the day right now. So.
And then Archie and Nellie, are you carrying just pistols, or are you carrying long arms as well?
I think I'll just be carrying my trusty number 2 service revolver.
Just a full stick of dynamite. I've got a Lee Enfield rifle, which I don't know whether she would have it out.
It's quite big and bulky, so
yeah, I wouldn't have that. I would have my concealed pistol.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay.
And I've also got a thumb knife, but obviously
which is also quite concealable.
Yeah.
I've also got my fighting knife. Yes.
Yeah. Both things are concealed.
Okay. Right. The servant leads you up to the door and sort of into a hallway, and then turns to Toby and says in Arabic, as it is so late, sir, would you mind waiting here while I go and wake my master?
Yes. Okay. Fine.
Right. So there's one lamp on a side table in here, yeah, and he's
Mhm.
carrying another one, and he shuts the front door. Doesn't lock it or anything, but shuts the front door, and then he wanders off. And he's not ancient, but he's of a reasonable age that he's slightly slow in walking and so on. He must be in his 50s at least, and yeah, quite slow walking man. Anything you want?
Okay, I nod to Sam and say, don't stay too close, but just keep an eye on where he goes.
Yeah, I was thinking actually of making a little bit of noise, marching around or stomping around a little bit just to mask
Okay.
any sounds that might be going on.
That's not a bad shout.
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, just maybe a bit of itchy feet or kind of like impatience. So yeah, just sort of make a bit of noise, Andy.
Okay, right. Okay, I shall just. So you're making some noise, shuffling around and stuff like that. The room is. I think Toby would know this for certain, so I won't make any dice rolls for it. This is clearly inside. You haven't really seen the house in daylight, so it's hard to judge from outside. But it's got a nice veranda outside. It's clearly someone with some wealth. Inside here, you would say definitely someone of some substantial wealth. It's quite well apportioned. It occurs to you that the reason he asked you to wait here is because there's probably some formal waiting room, but he's not taking you there because it's so late at night. So normally you'd have been shown into a waiting room, but that's not happened. And he probably not meaning it's an insult or anything, just simply because it's late and it's all closed up and stuff. Okay.
Are there any other doorways off this hallway?
Yes, several. Um, there's the one he went through, and when you saw when he opened it, it didn't go to a room, it went to a corridor, and there appears to be one on the other side of the room to that, and there's a couple of other doors off as well.
I'm just going to casually open the door, have a look in, see if I can see if there's anything interesting.
Right, I'll come to that.
Obviously, some level of information.
Okay, I'll cover that. So I was just cut to the other two around the back. Okay,
Yeah.
so Archie and Nellie.
Yep.
So you hear the bell ringing, and then you see actually from the room with the open window, you see a lamp lit, and then that lamp it dims as someone has clearly walked out of the room, and then you hear more sound around the around the building, and then you can hear the distinctive squeak of the rusty bolts on the gate being opened. Do you want to do anything at this point, or are you waiting?
Yes, I think that's what we want to duck in when the noise starts.
Okay. So going to this window. Okay. It is very dark inside, is one thing I'll say. There's a bit of moonlight, but it is very dark. So if you want to start doing anything for light, please do say.
I mean, I don't know if you. My gear list is incredibly thin. Can we assume that we have things like torches and stuff like that, or is this a sort of game where we have to have our equipment list very thoroughly listed out?
No, I think a torch would be quite acceptable.
I mean, I've got a lighter otherwise, which I can use to illuminate the way enough.
I think you can have a torch, yes. Certainly.
And you see what I mean? Some games are quite obsessive about recording exactly what you've got. Some games are. I don't know how you want to run this.
Let's have a little quick discussion at this between sessions, because it's all to do with minor things that are large enough to be minor items, and it's the load limits for minor items that is the only thing we need to be careful of. Okay, but yes, you can certainly have a torch on you. Yes. Okay. So, but glancing in through the window, you lift the window up so there's enough space to climb through. This appears to be a single bedroom. It seems to be a reasonably large bedroom. but it seems to be fairly sparsely furnished and like a servant's room.
I'll do it in a minute.
So it's slightly odd as you glance in that it looks like a servant's bedroom, but is quite big for a servant's bedroom. If you see what I mean.
How things are here.
Hmm.
I'm going to go over to the door. Is it closed? To
So you
this room?
scramble in. The door has been left open, and
Okay.
but it's dark on the other side. There's maybe a faint bit of light percolating from quite a distance away.
I just want to
Okay.
gather whether there's anybody coming close by,
No,
like outside the door.
nope.
Okay.
I'll screw on the little cover thing that these torches had with a little slot in it, so it doesn't produce too much light.
Okay, certainly. And do you want to go start looking around the building?
Yes, we'll start exploring the
Yeah.
building.
Okay, so fairly quickly you find a second bedroom. This one done up a bit more like a guest bedroom. It's a bit more opulently laid out and with opulent accoutrements and so on. It's and there's but it's clearly not being used at the moment. The bed is made, but it's clear it hasn't been used for a while. Okay. I'm just going to cut back to the others.
Okay.
Yep. So Toby, you open a door at random.
Mhm.
So right. So let's just work out which door you want to open. So you've gone in the front door. He's gone through a door
Mhm.
to the right, which you saw opened into a corridor. There seems to be a door opposite
Yep.
on the left, and then further down the room, there's two doors, one on the left, one on the right. So you've got
I did
either
the one on.
second right or first or second left.
I did the door opposite the one that the servant went through.
Right. That opens up into it's like a short passage that then opens up, but opens up into what you would have expected as a sort of greeting room for guests. It's a place where visitors would wait until the master
Mhm.
comes to see them.
Okay.
And there is one door off here.
Okay. I'll just shut that door too.
Mhm.
If I can't hear the servant coming back, I'll go and check the door at the end on the left.
Okay. Sam, did you say you're keeping an eye out for the servant coming back? Or
Yeah, I'm sort of going to be at the bottom of the stairs, making some noise and shuffling around, almost marching.
Yeah, there's no stairs. It's just it's a single story building.
Where did he go?
He went the first corridor, the first door on the right through a corridor. You saw him go down a corridor there, and you've seen from the building it's essentially a bungalow but quite sprawling.
So I'll just be marching up and down outside of that door that he went down.
Okay. Casamir, what are you doing?
I am sticking with the lieutenant.
Sticking with the what? Sorry.
The lieutenant. Lieutenant.
Okay. So Toby, which one do you go to next?
The one at the end on the left.
Okay. That opens up into a corridor, and you can instantly see the decoration is not as plush.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. I'll check the final door if I've got time.
Yeah, certainly. So that is you open that door, and still there's no sign of anyone coming back to talk to you. And that door opens onto a room that appears to be some sort of dining room, and you can see on the far side of it a door that it has the look of an external door that's supposed to be going back outside somewhere. And from your sort of mental geography, that could well be going out onto the veranda. This dining room is quite a sizable room.
Okay, so that's the back of the building.
Yeah.
We know where the front of the building is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then Archie and Nellie. So
Yep.
you've come into this bedroom. You've looked in a second bedroom. There's a corridor going off. Where do you wish to go?
Kind of looking for if there's a cellar or something like that. I mean, I had a quick look at the two bedrooms. I think probably go down the corridor.
Okay. As you start to go down the corridor, there's a turn, a corner, and you can see the sort of the faint glow of some light from a lamp is somewhere around the corner.
Is it moving?
Slightly, yes. Not approaching, but like someone is holding it.
Oh, okay. Stick around and have a look.
Okay. You glance round and you can see a man holding a lamp, not looking in your direction. He appears to be looking. He's actually waiting by a door.
Well, I can't. This is at the end of the corridor, isn't it?
No, this is the from your mental sort of layout of the house. This is going further, so going back into the house. You're going into the middle of the house.
Nowhere. I get the impression there's nowhere else for us to go apart from back to the two bedrooms we were looking at earlier.
Correct.
Okay, we'll have to wait until this guy moves on then. So I will just the lights off now. I'll signal to Nellie to maybe before I switch the light off, just use a torch to indicate that she should stand back and we'll wait.
Okay. You see the door open and another man, quite tall, thin man, hastily sort of tying up some fairly traditional clothing, sort of robes type, loose clothing, with a sash or belt he's tying up. Comes out, and then the other man, sort of holding the lamp out, seems to sort of then lead him back along the corridor. The room he came out of, there's clearly more light in there from another lamp that's been left on in that room.
Okay. Should we check out that bedroom?
Right.
Okay. Whilst they're vacated,
We'll come to that in a sec.
Okay.
Because we're actually getting close to time.
Yeah.
So we'll just, I think, right. We'll just, so you, Sam, you're marching up and down by the door, and then you start to hear some footsteps, shuffling footsteps, and then the door that is opened, and the servant comes back through carrying a lamp, and with him is presumably his master. This tall, thin man, dressed very traditionally, looks like quite well dressed, but hastily dressed, like he's gone to bed and has pulled his clothes back on, and with a bit of a sort of well-kept beard, probably a man in his 50s, probably.
Stand to attention and pointedly look at the lieutenant in the room.
He glances round and clearly seems to understand uniforms and so on, and looks at Toby and says, in English, and sort of fairly good. Remind me, you're really good with dialects and stuff, aren't you?
Dialects, yeah. So if he's speaking English, I could probably tell you what area of England he got taught English.
You would
That sort of
say
thing.
you would say
And probably class as well. If he's obviously picked his education's been at a higher class establishment, I'll probably have to tell that.
you would say that he has learnt English probably from a British public school. So
Mhm.
he clearly is a man of wealth and someone who has travelled. And he says, "Second Lieutenant, how may I help you?" And I think I think
So,
it's a good point to
okay,
I think it's a good point to stop there. Yeah.
okay,
For the
yeah,
night.
yeah.
Okay.
Cliffhanger. Love it.
Okay. Well, he looks highly dangerous. But
He's so dangerous.
yes, so dangerous. Thank you everyone for watching. There'll be another episode in a little while's time. But for tonight now, thank you and good night for tonight. Thanks, Raj. Bye.
Bye.
Right.